Well, as always, hello again. A learned behavioral response, part 2. I meant to wind this into the story earlier, the difference about prejudice and learned behavioral response as regards largely the East Indians. As I said in the first video, my landlord is East Indian, and I said in that video how he thought people were prejudiced in Southern Ontario, and I tried to explain to him it's not prejudice, it's a learned behavioral response. A story I told my landlord that day in that conversation was when I was a kid. I was still just, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something. My dad was a sharp man with money. You're 7 or 8, you want to hang out with the older boys, with the men, get away from mom's apron strings. And I was astounded to discover we'd had a dairy farm, but he'd sold the manure. But it never occurred to me that a pile of manure could be worth money. I was appalled and fascinated. And I forget what he sold the manure for. $5 a truckload, probably. But I guess word got out he was selling some manure. A fella showed up. My dad, it was after dinner in a summer evening. A fella showed up and said, "Oh, I'll buy a bunch of that manure off you." My dad said, No, it's pretty well all spoken for and stuff. I get a kick in the shins because no, it's not. And so the fellow leaves. No business deal was arranged, and I was like, again, 7 or 8 years old. "Hey, Dad." No, son, you gotta understand, you don't want to do business with a fellow like that. His word's no good. I said, "What do you mean?" He said he'd buy the manure for whatever the agreed upon price was. Dad's getting exasperated. One of his buddies pipes up. He goes, "Scotty," says, "that man's word's no good." Says he'll buy 10 loads for, let's say, $5 a load. He'll take 15. I said, what? Why would he, what? What do you mean? You only paid for 10, he'd take 15? Well, this is the point they're trying to impress upon me. And another one of Dad's cronies pipes up. He goes, "Look there, young fella." He says, "If a man's word's no good, he's no good. Don't do business with him." I'm still, he'd have bought more manure. Yeah, but he'd have stolen as much as he'd have paid for. What part of that don't you understand, kid? Well, this is the story I was trying to impress upon my landlord. I was telling him this story. And at the end of it, I said, "So you see," Joe's his name. I said, "You see, Joe, us old white stock, Southern Ontario farm boys, we were raised, if a man's word's no good, he's no good. You just don't do business with him, because he's not a man. He's less than a man." And the landlord's attitude was, that's why you're prejudiced. You can't explain it to people like that. They think looking you in the eye and lying is okay. And that's how they do business. And, well, now we give them virtual citizenship. Welcome to the new Canada.